Shadow work has the potential to be extremely transformative, but only if you ask the right questions. Now, there's a lot of videos already online about what Carl Jung's shadow work is and the theory behind it, but what I want to focus on instead on this video is how to make it practical. What are you supposed to do with all this theory and how are you supposed to actually use it? If you've got no idea what shadow work is, I'll leave a link just in the comments to help break this down, but we'll just use a loose working definition here of working with the unconscious. And what we're going to do today in this lesson is we're going to have a look at a step-by-step breakdown of how to start with a poor question and gradually improve it into a more effective one. One that actually gets you thinking and works to transform your behavior, not just make you feel miserable. So what we'll do is we will start at the E tier, so a pretty awful question, and then gradually improve it. So returning viewers to Mr. Clark's Classroom know that I prefer analog methods to digital, so we're going to be using this grid today just to make it all super clear, and then I will give you a top 6 tips just at the end, just to make it even more practical. And remember, the final question isn't necessarily the best question, it's just a result of gradually improving the original basic one, so I'm much more interested in you learning how to craft these questions for yourself, rather than just copying the end result. So with that in mind, let's get going. In terms of the E tier, or in other words, a fairly terrible question, we'll kick things off with this question down here. What's wrong with me? Now, I hear this one very often when I'm working with new clients or anyone new to inner work or mentoring in general. So why is this such a bad question? Well, first of all, it's far too vague. It's extremely negatively worded and very, very much shame-focused. It's got no context whatsoever. There's a lot of psychological rigidity involved in it, which basically means that it assumes that you're just a fixed person who can't grow, and it makes you the problem. There's no reference to a solution, and it doesn't look like it's growing towards a future that you actually want. So all round, it's a pretty awful question because it's not focused on growth at all. So if we're going to craft a better shadow work question, we need to just pick 1 or 2 elements of this and improve on them. So what we're doing is we're looking at gradually shifting this to be a better question, not making an enormous leap to make it absolutely perfect. So what might a D tier question look like instead? Well, let's try this one. What am I doing wrong in these situations? So again, it's not great, but it is a little bit better. And why is it better? Because it starts to include the context rather than being completely vague by at least saying these situations. It does start to encourage as well some observational skills. So it begs us to ask a follow-up question like, well, which situations specifically? I'm hoping this actually turns up as well. I can see that on the video it's a little bit lighter than I expected, but let's see how it goes. And it's also focused on what you're doing rather than who you are being. So what are you doing wrong rather than why am I always wrong? So it's a little bit better in that sense, but it is still a little bit vague. It's like I say, it's a bit better, but it's still very blame focused. There is still a bias towards judgment in that it assumes that something is wrong rather than effective or ineffective. And like I say, it is just a bit vague overall. So with that in mind, let's tighten it up a little bit more and move into the C tier. What patterns keep repeating in my life? So instead of focusing on right versus wrong, we've moved the attention here towards patterns instead. Again, we're trying to identify and notice things, not judge them. Same with the word repeating as well. So one-off good things will happen and one-off bad things will happen, but there's not too much point really wasting energy on these outliers if there's repeating patterns that are being ignored. And we're also moving away from the emotional charge that comes with words like right versus wrong. And instead, we're trying to be a little bit more objective or a little bit more detached. So what is it that you are noticing, or what might you start noticing? This does in itself become a little bit of a drawback though if we take out all of the emotion and we just coldly analyse it logically. So work can still be done on this. And it's also still a fairly surface level question at this stage. We don't really know what to do with the answer even if we do find one. So what we need to do is we need to keep tightening it up. So moving on to the B tier. What unmet need is this pattern trying and failing to meet? So now we're actually getting somewhere. We're solving the issues of the previous questions by trying to combine our thoughts and our emotions. You're not just one or the other, you're both. So we need a question that takes this into account. And it's also encouraging a clear solution. This thing has got my attention, but why? What does it want? What's stopping it? It might be a painful realization if you get to an answer, but it's at least a useful and potentially transformational answer. And it's also a considerably deeper question. So the actual situations that trigger this thought are actually really irrelevant. What we've done is we've pushed a layer deeper and tried to consider the unmet needs, which we can then go on to try and meet for ourselves. So it's looking good. It does rely on us though having knowledge of what our emotions are and what they're actually telling us though. And it's a little bit more difficult. It's a bit easier said than done. So not all patterns have a clear need that they match up to. So we might get a little bit stuck just over analyzing something like this. And given that this is shadow work and a shadow work question that we're trying to craft, it needs to be aiming at unlocking that transformative potential inside of us. It needs to stand in the way of the persona and say, okay, this might be tough, but we need to consider this and we need to face this. It might be a charged question, but it's good for us in the long run. So with that in mind, what we need to do is to move up the chain towards A tier. So we're getting somewhere now. What truth have I been avoiding that this pattern is trying to show me? And this is a really good question. So why is that the case? Well, if we break it down, first of all, the word truth is starting to be involved now as well. So it's encouraging us to be honest with ourselves. There's no stories, there's no observations, there's no judgments. It's just straight to the heart of the matter. It takes into account that we've got biases, because of course we do, we're humans. But what we need to do is we need to learn how to course correct. We need to look at what we originally tried to aim at, so what particular truth, but then where did we go astray from one decision or another? And secondly, this word avoiding. This is a great shadow work word to use just in general. So of course we've tried to avoid something. Our persona, so our outward facing personality said, well, we'll fit in if we do this instead of that. And so over time, what we've done is we've just made this into a habit accidentally. So transformation starts to happen when we pay attention to what it is that we've been avoiding and then finally confronting it. Which is why this last part, trying to show me, is important. What type of life is it trying to move you towards? This inward facing part of your personality, this shadow, it's not just going to give you a clear pathway, but it will give you your attention, or it will get your attention and say, listen, I don't know where we're going, but something's off. So maybe let's take a look at this a little bit closer. So when you put all this together, what truth have I been avoiding that this pattern is trying to show me? We get quite a confrontational question in the short term, but it is a necessary one that leads towards our growth and our potential integration in the future, in the long term. So like I say, it's potentially transformative and it leads us towards a healthier future. Now, we could just stop here because that is already a great question and that could prompt quite a lot of insight, but we want to take this ideally one step further. How do we make this an S tier question? So what I've come up with is this one. What practices would I need to embody to make this visible and practical in my life? So this is essentially just a continuation of the previous question, but it's much more grounded in reality. This A tier question was still very mental. It's still focused up here, somewhere above our eyes, assuming that we can think through the problem and the solution. But the thing is with shadow work, we're involving work with the unconscious. So it's easy to get stuck because, well, by definition, we can't just pull these thoughts into our conscious mind and that's it. So what we need to do is we need to learn how to embody them. We need to get into this mindset of experimentation and of practice and of play as well. So in other words, we need to actually do something, not just talk about something. Okay, I've realized this truth and I've spotted this pattern, and here's what I'm going to do about it. How can you tell that you've done something about it? Well, you can check. It's visible, it's practical. It's something you can point to and say, this is how I begun embodying this element of my shadow work. So let's say you've realized the truth on a mental level that you've been avoiding asking for a promotion at work because you don't feel worthy enough to ask your boss for the raise. You've realized that your self-esteem is lower than you thought, and you were able to trace this back to a story when you were around 7 years old, and you first remembered feeling like this, but in a different situation that was more relevant to your 7-year-old self. That's great news that you're able to realize that. Well, it's not great, but you know what I mean for the sake of this. So now, on a practical, physical, and emotional level, you start practicing shadow work by doing things that improve your self esteem, by asserting boundaries, or just putting yourself in situations that could potentially be embarrassing and seeing how you deal with them. That's what shadow work is all about. It's disrupting how your persona wants you to act in the world because you know that a transformation is possible. But you've got to question the self-imposed rules that we're living by if they're not helping us get to where it is that we want to go. At the end of the month, we can check our actions and say, yes, this work was made visible because I went to this new gym class, or I was able to say no to this person and genuinely mean it. And I was able to acknowledge to myself that I was proud of myself. And how did I do that? Well, I did that by writing in my diary to act as a reminder for the future. Can you see how each of these questions start to emerge from each other? What's wrong with me and what am I doing wrong in these situations are so limited and narrow and vague compared to what truth have I been avoiding that this pattern is trying to show me, and what practices would I need to embody to make this visible and practical in my life, which, like I say, are so practical, they're so expansive, they're so relevant. And that's how you craft an S-tier shadow work question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you just a summarized top 6 tips just to make this even clearer. So then it doesn't even matter what type of topic you're looking at to explore. You just know the actual rules to follow. So this is just some tips. Obviously, it's not exhaustive. So number 1, if we start up here, hopefully you can read this. Start with a vague point and then make it as clear and specific as possible. I've tried to make all these points, by the way, very, very self-explanatory, so I won't go into massive detail with each of them. Number 2, focus on the embodiment of a solution, not just the mental awareness of the problem. Number 3, tilt towards future-focused plans to avoid shame and guilt rumination. Number 4, treat yourself like a full human being. And what I mean by that is you exist on a physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual level in both an inner and an outer sense. So take all of this into account and stop reducing yourself down. Number 5, replace why questions with who, what, where, when, or how. So again, very, very similar links to point number 2 really with that one. And I would say just as a general rule overall as well for number 6, work with your shadow side and not against it. So you're looking to integrate it, don't eliminate it. Okay, I think we can leave it there for that one. I'll do more practical walkthroughs and breakdowns like this in the future on specific topics, and I'll give some super specific book recommendations as well wherever I can. But I hope this was useful, and there's plenty similar walkthroughs to come, so I will see you in a future lesson. See you then.